Okay, so in our previous session, we have seen like very basics of AngularJS. Now we are going to learn about the HTTP and the services, how to use them in AngularJS, right? Are you guys excited about the HTTP and services or feeling boring? Yeah, okay. So let's start learning that. In our previous session, we created this using ngRoute, right? What is ngRoute? ngRoute is basically the module that is created by Angular itself, and that we add the external file, Angular route file, correct? And then we do the configuration for our Angular app, correct? Like this. So very first thing is including this Angular route file. The second thing is then including this dependency of ngRoute, okay, then providing the configuration for our app, okay, using route provider, like for which URL what should be the template and what should be the controller. We can specify templates using two methods. If it is actual HTML content, then we can use template, or if it is a file, then we can use template URL. And for this is the default route, you can say. If a URL is not matching with the URLs mentioned here, it will render this template, correct? So we are all quite good. Let's jump into HTTP first. Okay, let's see people what say about HTTP and how to use that. Okay, so before HTTP, actually I think we should start with the services, because HTTP itself, it's a AngularJS service for reading data from remote servers, correct? So what is services? Yeah, service is a function or a object that is available for and limited to your AngularJS application, right? AngularJS has about 30 built-in services, right? Those are many. One of them is $location service. The location service has methods which return information about the location of current page. And to use such services, basically we need to location service, we need to pass that to the argument, to the controller function. We need to pass that, and then we can do something like this: $location dot absolute URL. So this is function provided by location service, and that we can use in our any of the controllers, right? Also we can create our own services. Why use services? This is good question over here. For many services like location service, it seems like you could use objects that are already in DOM, like window.location object. You could, but it would have some limitations, at least for your AngularJS application, right? AngularJS constantly supervise your application, and for it handle the changes and events properly. AngularJS prefers that you use location service instead of window.location. They all talking about basically the location service, not specific like why to use services, right? Let's hunt for that. Why to use AngularJS services? Okay. No, nothing good. Yeah, when to use service, no. So basically when you wanted to share some data or the functions with your controller, different controllers, at that time those functions or that data you can pull out from your controller, you can put that in your services, so that that will be available for all controllers. You just wanted to inject that service to the controller, and that will be available, right? So for me that is the basic purpose of services. Maybe there could be more reasons for creating the services in AngularJS, but for now this is enough for us, right? Like to sharing the data or maybe functions, right? Okay, so the location service we saw, it's pretty easy to use, right? Let's use that in our project as well. We have this route, we have everything. Now in our banana controller which we created in our last session, there we will use location service, right? And we'll console this directly. Yeah, okay. Let's go to banana route. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, we are getting absolute URL of our page. This is absolute URL, right? Starting from HTTP till the end. That's called absolute. Okay, perfect. So now we know, like, if there is going to be any inbuilt service by AngularJS, we can use that service easily, right? Let's try to see more services by AngularJS. Yes. Okay. Mm, okay. List of AngularJS JS services. They are actually printing all services right there. So we don't want it to do that using program. We only want to know. Mm, अजून okay. Mm, yeah, I guess we saw here more services, right? Somewhere. Yeah, timeout service is there. Oh my god, internal service is there. We are so stupid looking for. Yeah, so timeout service is basically the AngularJS version of window.setTimeout. What it does, after a certain period of time, it will execute this function, right? So let's use that timeout. Yeah, timeout. Oh, sorry. Okay, and let's copy and add this, make that. after 2 seconds, that's in millisecond, and console okay. So let's see for banana where it is. Yeah. Let's go to tomato, then again banana. Let's fit. Yeah, it's there, right? After 2 seconds, it's coming. So we can use timeout here. Then interval is the same. It will like do this repeatedly after every second. So that's what interval is. Create your own service. Like this is what we need to do, correct? We want to have our own service that we can use in all of our controllers, correct? What they are using to create your own service, connect your service to the model first, app.service. So we are connecting our service to the model, so that way it becomes available for all other controllers, correct? This is the name of service, and this is the function inside of that service. And in there we are having, we can define many functions basically here. Let's create one service now. App, we'll name it something different. Let's what we can do. With the app service we can my service, okay? And inside of my service we'll say we'll create function alarm, okay? Set alarm, we'll create this function as a set alarm, okay? And for this we'll pass the milliseconds, right? And we are in trouble. Okay, now we wanted to use, let's do one thing. First of all, before giving alarm, we'll console, we'll just directly do the alarm, like alarm, huh? Okay, we don't have to return anything. Maybe we can return true. As we don't have anything to return, right? And now here my service will inject that service right here, and we'll call that function set alarm. Will pass few like millisecond. Let's see whether our first of all setup is running, right? Then we'll try to get the alarm here, but to use alarm again we have to use that timeout service, right? Then we'll find how to use service inside of service. Right? Our example was like quite funny. In banana controller we are doing everything, right? So we are having the, let's remove this timeout, and elsewhere remove this consoles. remove this. Are we having any errors? Yeah, alarm is got printed, correct? So we are now our service is got created properly. We just wanted to, if you want to do anything here, you can do some maths or you can do any operation that you want to do repeatedly in different controllers. You will put that outside in a service, and you can use it. So this is very simple, right? Let's now look for how to use service inside of service, correct, in AngularJS. We don't know how much lucky we will be for finding this. App.service service 1, okay, app.service 2, and then app.service 2 service 1. Yeah, it's array injection to minify problem. Okay, fine. So there is nothing, basically you can directly use this. Okay, yeah. Now what was that? Our timeout. I always try to avoid try typing. Okay, console dot log vaca time of, okay, these milliseconds we'll use here. And now again we'll do something good thing, like let's remove some part of our code. Yeah, inside of banana we are showing green, so I need to write here, correct? You remember, right? Let's forget about those bananas. Yeah, so I'll have h2 set alarm function, set alarm, okay, and there input type number, correct, and ng model is equal to milliseconds complete, and then in index here, before passing this as a static value, we'll pass that as milliseconds, okay, and right here, okay, but we need to call this function somewhere, so on click we'll call that function, right? Because initially value is nothing, and the alarm will set up that alarm. So button, now submit, and on ng click I'm writing let's set, okay, yeah, okay. So inside of our controller, what should I do now? Scope dot set is equal to function. We don't want anything from that function, only will, correct. Okay, let's get rid of that color. It's looking so dirty, right? That things I need to make this clean. This is not looking good, right? Okay, let's remove this. Let's have this, but in good manner. Borders 1px solid hash ccc and background hash f2 f2 f2. Okay, padding 20px. So this is good styling for our this thing. Now what we can do, we'll add here some h1, that AngularJS services example, and in routing we'll have, like, we don't want this banana, or inside of that we'll say it has home, or the example of services, right? Custom service, or we can say example of custom service. We don't want that tomato. Now the custom service will be my URL, and this URL I'll set to this, and let's remove that green. Custom service template, correct? And now our controller name should change it to the custom service ctrl. Okay, let's custom service control, yeah, that's fine. We don't want this now. Okay, let's do some cleaning. This is my service, perfect. My custom service, this is controllers for custom service example. This is quite confusing for maybe for people, like custom service controller. I feel like it's, we'll say example instead of that, right? Example ctrl. Okay, tomato we don't want now. Welcome to AngularJS tutorial, not tutorial. Yeah, this should be learning AngularJS, right? Okay, I don't want this. Now where we left with that example controller, my service. Are we good? No, we need to change the file name from customer service HTML to example HTML. Okay, now let's go here, refresh. Yeah, this is quite looking good. And also I don't want this P right here. I'll have this here we can put like this, and let's have this. Okay, learning AngularJS. Example of custom service, set alarm. I'll set it for 2 seconds, and right here we are doing that console as well as we'll have alert wake up. Okay, so let's set that for 2 seconds, and let's see. Oh, timeout is not function, error is on index.html 46 line number, right? So 46 line number, timeout is mm, we need to check that we were like trying to inject yeah, they are using what is the problem? This is a function. For function itself we are adding here. I think it could work right here. Yeah, it's working. The problem was like for the controllers, what we do, we want the timeout service, we inject that service to the controller, we don't inject that to the function. The same thing with the services as well. Wherever if we want to use any service, we have to inject that with the service, not in the function. That was our stupid mistake that we did. Yeah, so now we are good, and also example is looking so pretty, right? Let's make that more pretty. Let's have alarm image. Tar gf alarm gf. What is this? Is it running?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's have it. Ching, 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 ching. Yes, it's here as well. We are not okay. Got it. Oh, it's JP. It's not GF. Is it GF?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's save this image. Yes. This is that image. I guess directly we can save this image, right?
Yes.
Alarm.
So .gif extension.
Okay, let's add that here. Now let's try to get, oh my god. Okay, now we'll show that in our example HTML. After, okay, right here below that submit button, img src alarm.gif, correct?
Yes.
And
Wait.
okay, let's add some width so that way it will look good. 100 is fine. Let's have this div as a wrapper for this, and style margin top 20 px. Okay, and let's make that ngIf. Why ngIf? Because we don't want to load that alarm unless it's running, right? Because even though if we use, instead of if we use show or hide, that image will take time to load and our page load time will increase. So that way we can reduce our load time using ngIf. For ngIf we can have alarm okay ngIf. Now in our controller we'll set that alarm is equal to false, and when it's running, wake up.
Inside set function.
Hmm?
Inside the set function.
Yeah, when it will be now here.
Actually rendered.
No, here is the problem. Like either we have to pass this alarm value. What we can do, we are in trouble. Can you understand the problem? We are setting this variable in our controller. We want to access that. Here we can do that, but now we are setting the alarm from our service. How we can set that variable from here?
Need to pass scope in up at the same time with the timeout.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense, like passing that, because whatever I set here, the value, I have to use that right here. So here is next challenge for us, like how we can do that. We have one easy solution, like using root scope. What is root scope? Let's see. Yeah. What is root scope? Yeah. Yes, that's a good question. Yeah, but okay. The main difference is the availability of the property assigned with the object. A property assigned with the scope cannot be used outside the controller in which it is defined. Very straightforward, right? Whereas a property assigned with the root scope can be used anywhere in the Angular app. Correct? So we can use the root scope here. This is one solution for us that that can work. mm, let's do that first. So instead of saying scope, I will define that to the root scope dot alarm. Okay, so that is available for me here as well, like in service everywhere. Yeah, the root scope dot alarm is equal to true. Okay, now we are using this root scope, correct? But root scope, I doubt what exactly is the root scope. Let's try to find out. Yes, can you see this? The root scope, what it is? It is a service in module ng. So by default, it's it comes with the Angular. So you can say like this. Yeah, just before now we were trying to find some inbuilt services. So this could be one of the example that it's making some mechanism in that service, creating some mechanism to maintain the scope throughout the application, right? It might be using some browser side, maybe application data or session or local storage. We don't want to get into that, but that's good for us, right? Root scope provider. Yeah, let's not get provider for root scope service. So basically this we need to inject like the same we did with the timeout. Did you notice the difference while injecting? For for Angular services we use dollar, for but for the custom services that we create, we don't use dollars, we use as it is, right? So let's see now how is our alarm. Yeah, okay, we have used root scope here in controller but not injected there, right? Okay, so that makes this controller is having root scope, so that makes the availability of the scope right here as well, because this portion is controlled by our example controller and it is having the root scope, so it doesn't matter like this. Let's see now. Yeah. Let's make that quick, like in one second. Yeah, wake up, Sid. Okay, now we want to stop this alarm, right? So let's make that site now set up. Okay, and we'll have another button that will say stop it, stop. Okay, so it will just, we don't want any function or anything, we can. Okay, let's see whether this works. Okay, so 3 seconds setup. Let's wait. Yeah, it's there. Now stop it. It doesn't work. Right? Why it's not working?
under the roots. It's under the root scope. So
Alarm is equal to no. I don't think so.
root scope.
Okay, stop it. So basically, there is no sense. We are not initializing value. This is like true, and then not true. That means false. Ng click. What will happen on ng click? False.
Yes, yes.
Doesn't make any sense. Alarm is equal to false.
So my question is, we initialize the alarm either using the root scope dot alarm.
Yeah.
So here we don't need a root scope dot alarm. So how it's possible? It's not needed at all.
No. Because so you are trying to say like here should be root scope dot alarm, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we do, let's suppose if it is a normal scope, what we do? Do we write there scope dot?
No, no.
We don't write scope dot
What we do, we
because
directly use.
it is already in the scope of that controller. So and already this ng click, this is the Angular directive. So we don't want to again tell them like scope dot. They consider it as a scope only.
If it's previously defined, so no need to write.
Yes. And in the same manner, like for root scope, we added root scope in the scope of our controller by injecting.
Yes.
So this makes availability of all properties of root scope in this HTML, right? Because we mentioned here for this HTML, this will be the boss or the controller. So whatever he says, I will follow. Whatever I says, he should follow. Two-way binding. Okay. So here is our really nice example of setting alarm using custom service. Okay, that's good stuff. Let's skill enough and let's make that different. I'll rename that as alarm service. Okay, and now let's move on and make a copy of the same. We replaced that thing. Okay. Now we'll make copy and say HTTP service. We need to now. This is most important thing, and this is most widely used because Angular itself, it is a client side application. Angular never has the data. He always takes data from the server or from the remote, and then Angular plays with that data like rendering or doing all stuff. So HTTP is the most important thing. Okay. Example, no, it's not added, man. Okay. Now let's rename it. Delete example.com, let it be there. Index2, let's rename that to index, and employees will need this. Custom service, let it be there, not required now. Okay, app.js, okay, that's fine. Alarm, okay, we don't need. Yeah, let's add this entire script to the app.js, and here we will include that file, script source app.js. Okay, now it's looking good, our application. AngularJS HTTP service example. Okay, what is there? Example controller we have, then learning AngularJS we have. We don't want service for now, let's kill that. Yeah, okay, controller scope we don't want, root scope, timeout location we don't want anything, ngRoute fine. Here example of HTTP service. Yeah, perfect, we are good to go. And our example.html, I hope we have that. Okay, HTTP example. Okay, let's see what is the folder name. HTTP
Paste.
okay, perfect. So all setup is all good. Now we just wanted to dig into HTTP. What is that? Yeah, so let's go to W3 schools HTTP. Where is that? Oh, sorry. First AngularJS, then HTTP. HTTP is the Angular service for reading data from remote servers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we all know. Now we just wanted to know how to use that. Okay, what they are saying, http.get welcome.htm, then function response and response data. Why they are writing like this, we want to know. They are not telling us what is going on. Let's see if they tell. Okay, so here is the proper syntax of HTTP. Basically, when we give the call for HTTP, we need to mention the method, like whether it's we are sending data using get, post, or how we are sending data, right? Then URL, to which URL we want to hit, right? Then for this, then we are having two callback functions, and those two functions are basically, first one is for the success, second one is for the errors. So whatever the response we will receive, that will be the response sent from the servers. Okay, in the same way. Now we need to find some example, very simple example, so that way we can just hit any URL and we'll get some data, right? mm, mm, Open source web service. No. Okay, for example, what we'll do initially, we'll use the local URL, which is going to return us the JSON. Okay, so in this example, we'll have one simple function that we'll call like load data. Okay, the function name, and this will be my function. Sorry, and inside of this function, now here I'm using HTTP service, so I'll inject that service, and URL will be customers employees dot JSON. Okay, right now in our directory we are having employees JSON file, and in that we are having 4 employees listed there. Okay, we need to call this function from somewhere. So instead of calling it using any button, we can call it easily, right? In example, we'll have the any div, I'll say, and in there, in h2 we'll say the list of all employees. Okay, then ng, in ng init I can call that function. So ng init is going to call this function, but we are doing nothing with that data, right? Let's at least console that response object, console dot log response. Yeah, okay, then okay, at the board times we'll be doing console. Let's inspect. HTTP service. Yes, so what's there? The status 200, status text okay, config, and the data. These are the inside of data we are having the records, correct? So there these people has explained The response from the server is an object with these properties. The config, the object used to generate the request. So what's there in config? Let's see. So this was the config that we used while sending the request. The method was get, then URL, and blah blah blah. Then inside of data we know the data, and in headers, yeah, in headers used to get the headers information like cross origin allowed or something like that. Okay, the status, whether status codes 200 for okay, 400 for bad request, 404 for not found, something like that, and status text, that is okay, right? Explanation of this code. So whenever we build any API, we at least expect the response should be in this format, like status data and status text or errors or something that we can manipulate, but this is the standard way like they do. Okay, list of employees. Now we can easily iterate those employees here using ng. What are the properties that we are having? I guess name, the code of employee, the name, then what's there?
Email,
Email is there, then yeah, gender, then age, contact number, and let's have this ng repeat is equal to, we didn't assign the response anywhere, so we need to assign scope dot employees is equal to response dot data, right? And now employee in employees. Okay, right here those properties will be here. Code employee dot name correct. Okay, let's see. Okay, we are only having names. Let's see.
so the capital letters.
Yeah, in that is everything is in caps. Oh my god, it's all crazy stuff. See, okay, instead of email ID we want email age, gender, and see contact, right?
Yes.
Okay, now we should be good. Yes. Let's have some styling. Border 1. Yeah, now it's looking good and data is coming through HTTP, right? Even though that file is local, that doesn't matter. You can, instead of that file, you can use any web service which is on the remote. You can use that. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Now let's see what else we can do right here. Are we missing, or should we do more stuff? Whenever we will have the APIs ready, then at that time we can cross check for the other methods like post, right? Also we can use maybe the remotes from this. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, these are their countries. Customer, they are calling customers.php, and this is going to be like this maybe, because they are not mentioning any w3 schools slash customers.php. We should be good.
So
No,
they have mentioned their phone.
where?
So drive or something.
Okay,
Yes.
customers.php http. Okay, probably they are having some mechanism. Let's let's try one more time.
So it should be in the Angular folder.
Let's try. No. Okay. No access control allow origin header is present on requested resource. Origin local host is therefore not allowed to access. Right? So what they have did, like they are not allowing cross domain. They are not allowing all other people to access their APIs. Okay, fine, no issue. Yeah, that's different. Oh, yes, we can use this. It was the folder. Yeah.
Keys are different.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We got all records. Country, city, name, everything. The customers, list of customers. And that's pretty easy, like printing here. There is nothing. So now we can give call to the remote APIs. Let's see if they are having any post API, then we'll try for that, right? Otherwise, in next session, we'll be ready with the APIs. Then at that time we can use. No, they are not having. Let's check. HTTP post example Angular will hit the same example. How to post data using Ajax and Spring MVC. What these people are doing? We don't want to get into that. No, they don't have running example. Running example of HTTP post in AngularJS. HTTP add edit delete
Submit.
get. They're just explaining the code, right? RESTful port delete. They don't have working API. Okay, let's forget about that. Okay, I guess we are good with the HTTP and services, and we can stop for a while here. Then we'll go for the server side API creation using Node.js in next coming session. Then we will be good, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, thank you.